We continue now at the top of Daf Kuf Beis Amid Beis Mesechet Sanhedrin. This is Sanhedrin Daf 102b. On the previous Amid, the Gemara said that Rabbi Avo, he would darshan about the three kings that have no chelik in Olam Haba, they have no share in the world to come. But then when Rabbi Avo got sick, he accepted upon himself not to darshan about that, not to teach about those three kings. And the Gemara now continues and says, once the itpach, once he was healed, he felt better. So Hadr Kadarish, so he started darshaning again about the three kings who have no chelik in the world to come. And so Amri, so they said to him, the students said to Rabbi Avo, Lo kabilt aloch de lo darasht behu, did you not accept upon yourself not to darshan? Why are you suddenly teaching about them? And so Amar, he said, Inu mi hadru behu, did they do teshuva from their bad ways? Di anoah hader bi, that I should now reconsider, and so therefore I will continue to teach about them. And the Gemara continues, Rav Ashi ukiya shlosha malachim. Rav Ashi, when he was teaching, he got up to this section about the three kings. Rashi says, ukiya shlosha malachim uki siyum hachpirka ad shehigiu legimel malachim. He finished this parak all the way until he reached the section that discusses the three kings. And so then at that point, Amar, he said, Lamachar, tomorrow, niftach bechavrin, we're going to begin discussing our colleagues, meaning we'll begin discussing these three kings. Rashi explains, Amar Lamachar, niftach bechavrin, nidrosh bechavereina, we're going to have drushes about our colleagues. Shahayu talmidei chachamim k'moseinu. They were talmidei chachamim just like us. Ve'ein lohem chelek la'asid. And again, they have no portion in the future, in the world to come. So we'll discuss these three kings tomorrow. Also, Menashe is chazilei bechelme. So then Menashe came, the king Menashe came, and he appeared to Rav Ashi in a dream. Amar, he said, Chavrech v'chaverei diyavuch korislan, you're calling us your colleagues and the colleagues of your father. That's how you refer to us. And meheicha bois lemishra hamotzi. So he asked him a question in halacha, from where on the bread do you cut, when you make hamotzi, where do you cut the bread? And Rashi explains, Amar le Menashe b'chalom chavrech v'chaver davich anan kolomar v'chisavar ato sheniyeh chavercha v'chaver davich. Do you think that we're like your colleagues and the colleagues of your father? And so we have a question for you. Mehecha bois lemishra hamotzi eincha yodeya. You don't know me'iza makom b'pas atat tzarich liftzo hamotzi. You don't know from what place of the bread you're supposed to cut the bread when you make hamotzi. And so that was the question that he asked him. And he responded, Amar le, Rav Ashi said to him, he said back to him, Lo yadani, he said, I don't know exactly where you cut the bread. Amar le said to him, Mehecha de bois lemishra hamotzi lo gamirta. You don't know, you never learned from where to cut the bread by hamotzi v'chavrach karaslan, yet you refer to us as your colleagues. Amar le said to him, Agmar le, so if that's the case, teach it to me, tell me the halacha. Ulamachar, and tomorrow, darishna le, mishmach bepirka, I'm going to darshan it in your name when I give the shir. Amar le, so he said to him, Mehecha de karim bishula, you should cut the bread from the area where the crust is formed. And Rashi explains, Mehecha dekarim bishula, from the area where the crust is formed, the rifta mimakom shenikramin poneh shal pas betanor, the area again where the crust is formed, the dahainu milmala, that would either be on the top, or misvivos hapas, or mishulav, or it would be surrounding the bread, or it would be on the bottom. Avol be'emtzolo, the point is you shouldn't do from the middle. Shem heviu lefun of perusa shalechem, let's say they bring a slice of bread, lo yeheb botzeu mevarech el mishulei hapas v'lo me'emtzio, so you have to take from the bottom or from the sides of the bread, and not from the middle. Lishnachrin, another explanation, Mehecha de kodim, kilomar Mehecha shemakdim lefos. It's not the karim, but it's the kodim, from where it begins to bake. V'hainu hach, that would be the same thing, says Rashi. Lishnachrin, another explanation, Mehecha de gamar bishula mimakam shalechem ofo yofe, from where the cooking is finished, from where the baking is finished, it's baked well. V'lo meoso makam shakarn bishul, not the area which they call bishul. V'rishonir, but Rashi says that the first approach seems to be the proper approach. In any case, the Gemara continues. Amar Lei said to him, if you're so wise, if you know so much, my time why did you bow down to the avodah zarah? Amar le said to him, if you were there, you would hold the bottom of the garment, you would follow me, you would run after me. You too would have fallen to avodah zarah at that time. Rashi explains, means you would lift up your own garments from between your feet in order to run, in order to that be easy for you to run, and you would run there because of the great Yetzer Hara of avodah zarah that was there. Again, that's what it means. You would grab the bottoms of your garments, and you would run after me, you would run to serve the avodah zarah. And the Gemara continues, L'machar, the next day, Amar Lahu, he said to them, when he was giving the shir, Amar Lahu, the Rabbanan, he said to the Rabbanan, Niftach b'Rabbi Vasa, let's begin in with our rabbis, we'll discuss, he referred to them not as colleagues, but as Rabbanon. And Rashi explains, Niftach b'Ravasa naschil lidrosh b'Rabboseinu v'lo amar b'Chaveireinu. He said Rabboseinu, he didn't say Chaveireinu. He referred to them in a more respectful manner. And the Gemara continues, Achav, when it comes to Achav, who was the second king who does not have a chelik in Olam Haba, the second king again following Menashe. Why is he called Achav? He's Ach LaShamayim, he's a brother to heaven, and Av LaAvodas Kochavim, he's a father for the Avodah Zarah. And Rashi explains, Ach LaShamayim, Ra LaShamayim, what that means is he's bad for heaven. Kedamrinan b'Achashverosh, Achverosh, they use that language by Achashverosh, it means something negative, something bad. And the Gemara continues, Ach LaShamayim, we use the term Ach LaShamayim, because it's written Ach Litzara Yivolid, it says a brother will be for tzara, he's going to be born for tzara, he's going to be born for adversity. Rashi says, Dechsiv v'yoch l'tzara yivolid, vai l'tzara, woe to the tzara, to the pain. Alma ach lashon roa vai, you see that the word ach is a language of bad, it's a language of woe to that, and so that's what it means, ach lashamayim. And av la'avodas kochavim, he's a father when it comes to avodas kochavim, to avodah zara, Dechsiv, because it's written in the pasuk, kerachim of albanim, like a father has mercy on his sons. And Rashi explains, av la'avodas kochavim shahaya ohava biyoser, he loved the avodah zara a lot. Dechsiv kerachim of, like the father loves children. Alma av merachim, you see that a father has a great amount of love, of mercy. And Rashi notes, v'hani kroy, in these psukim that the Gemara is bringing, b'chti nakadlu, they're not absolutely necessary to prove these ideas, but we bring the psukim nonetheless. And the Gemara continues, the pasuk says in Sefer Melachim, Vayhi hanakalechto b'chatas Yeravam ben Nevat, when it's talking about Achav, it says that the least of his crimes was following in the sins of Yeravam ben Nevat. And Rashi says, Vayhi hanakal ba'achav kasav kolomar kalos hayel achav kol chatosav shal Yeravam. All of the sins of Yeravam, those would have been light with regards to Achav. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Kalos sha'asa Achav, the light kinds of Aveirus that Achav did, kechamuro sha'asa Yeravam, that was like the strictest, the worst Aveirus of Yeravam ben Nevat. And the Gemara says, now why is it that the Torah is tying the sins of Achav to Yeravam? Because he was the beginning of all of this corruption. And Rashi explains, many times it says that this person, this king, didn't turn away from all the sins of Yeravam. It doesn't say right Achav, even though Achav was worse than Yeravam. So why do we always refer to Yeravam? And the Gemara says, it's because he was the beginning of the corruption. He was the first king that began that kind of corruption. And the Gemara continues, the pasuk in Hosea says, Gam mizbechosam, also their altars, kegalim, al talmai sodai, they are like the droppings that are in the furrows of the field. And the Gemara explains the pasuk, Rabbi Yochanan says, Ein loch kol telam v'telam be'Eretz Yisrael, there is no furrow of land in Eretz Yisrael, shelo hemid olav Achav avodas kochavim, that Achav did not stand up over there, avodah zara v'ishtacha v'lo, and bow to it. And the Gemara continues, Umenolan delo asi la'al medasi, and from where do we know that Achav did not get a share in the world to come? Dechsiv, because it's written in the pasuk, v'ichrati li'achav mashtin b'kir, that all of the men from Achav will be cut off. And the pasuk finishes, v'otzor v'ozav b'Yisrael, and the Gemara darshans that line, v'otzor v'ozav b'Yisrael, means otzor b'olam hazeh, v'ozav li'olam haba, means that there's a punishment both in olam hazeh, in this world, and ozav, forsaken in olam haba, means to say that he does not have a share in the world to come. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, why was Omri, why did he merit to become king? He was the father of Achav. And the reason is, because he added on one city to Eretz Yisrael. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk and Sefer Melachim, Vayiken esahar Shomron me'es Shemer b'chikraim kesef. It says that he bought the mountain Shomron from Shemer. Vayiven esahar, he built the mountain Vayikra Shemer Eshabon al Shem Shemer Adoni or Shomron, and he named the city after Shemer, again the master of the mountain Shomron. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan says, why did Achav merit to be king for 22 years? Because he honored the Torah. And the Torah was given with 22 letters. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, also in Sefer Melachim, Vayishlach malachim el Achav melech Yisrael ha'ira, he sent messengers to Achav, Vayomer lo, and said to him, Ko amar ben Hadad kaspecho zohav chali Lihu v'nashechu v'necha tovim lihem. He said, all of your money, your silver and gold is mine. Your wives, your children are mine. Kim kois mocher eshlech esavdi elecha. I'm going to send tomorrow my servant to you. V'chipsu es beischa v'espoti avadecha v'hoya kol machmar einecha yasimu biyodam v'lakachu. They're going to search your house. They're going to search the houses of your servants, and all of the delights of your eyes they're going to take. Vayomer l'malachi ben Hadad, and he said to the messengers of Ben Hadad, Imru la'adoni hamelech kol asher shalachta l'avdecha barishona esa. Everything you sent me first, in that first message I will do. V'hadavar hazeh, but this last thing that's mentioned, and the Gemara is going to understand it, referring to machmar einecha lo uchal lasos, that I'm not able to do, that Achav refused. And the Gemara now explains, my machmar einecha, what does it mean? What does it mean, the delight of your eyes? Lav Sefer Torah, isn't he referring to the Sefer Torah that he was not willing to give to Ben Hadad? And so you see that he had a respect for the Torah. But the Gemara says, Dilma avodas kochavim, but how do you know that it means the Sefer Torah? Maybe it means avodah zara. Maybe the delight of his eyes was avodah zara. And the Gemara says, Lo sal gadaitach, don't let that enter your mind. Tichsiv, because it's also written in the pasuk, Vayomrei elav kol hazikenim v'chol ha'am. It says that all the elders, the people agreed, and so therefore if the sages agreed, certainly it must not have been avodah zara, it must have been the Sefer Torah. But the Gemara continues, V'dilma save devasa have it, but maybe we're talking about wicked elders over here. Who says we're talking about the sages? Milo ksiv, isn't it written, Vayishar hadavar b'nei Avshalom, uve'inei kol ziknei Yisrael? It says the ziknei Yisrael by Avshalom. V'yamar Rav Yosef save devahasan. Rav Yosef says it's referring to the wicked elders. And so therefore over here also maybe it's the wicked elders. And the Gemara says no, because hasam lo ksiv, because over there it's not written v'chol ha'am. It doesn't say all of the people. But hacha ksiv v'chol ha'am, here it says all of the people. They said that it's impossible that there weren't some tzaddikim among all of the people, and we know that from the pasuk because it's written in the pasuk. It says ve'isharti b'Yisrael, and say from Malachim ve'isharti b'Yisrael shivas alpaim kol haberkayim asher lo karu lebal v'chol ha'peh asher lo nashak lo. There's going to be 7,000. There's going to be righteous people, all of the knees that did not bow to the Baal, and all of the mouths that did not kiss the Baal. So you see that there were some righteous people. So if it says kol ha'am, then we know again, asher lo nashak lo, all the mouths that didn't kiss the Baal. We know that if there were some righteous people among the nation, and the whole nation is mentioned, it cannot be talking about avodah zara. It must be talking about the Sefer Torah. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav Nachman says, Achav shakol haya, Achav was perfectly balanced, meaning the number of his mitzvos and the number of his averos were perfectly balanced. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk, Vayomer Hashem miyafates Achav, it says Hashem said, who's going to entice Achav? As if it was difficult to get Achav to do this avera, Vayal v'yipol b'Ramos Gilad, he'll go and he'll fall in Ramos Gilad, Vayomer zebeko v'zeomer b'cho, this one said this way, and this one said this way, and so you see from the context of the pasuk that it must mean he was shakol, he had averos, but he also had an equal number of mitzvahs. But the Gemara continues, Maskefla Rav Yosef asks on this, Man dechasa bei, the person who it's written about him, Rak lohoya ka'achav, asher ismaker lasos ora beinei Hashem, asher hisato so izev, it says that Achav, there was no one like Achav that was so bad in the eyes of Hashem. V'tanin, and it was taught, B'chol yom haisa shokeles, shiklei zov lavodas kochavim, every single day, his wife Izevel, she would weigh shkolim of gold for avodah zara. V'yat amrit shokol hoya, and you're saying he was evenly balanced. That cannot be the case. Rather, the reality is Achav was very generous when it came to his money. Since he benefited Talmidei Chachamim from his property, he gave to the causes of Talmidei Chachamim, so Kipru lo mechsa, so they forgave him for half of his averos, and it was for that reason that he was considered evenly balanced. And the Gemara continues, the pasuk and Sefer Malachim continues in terms of enticing Achav. Vayetze haruach vayamud l'fnei Hashem. It says that the spirit stood before Hashem, Vayomer, and said, Ani afatenu, I will entice him. Vayomer Hashem elav, Hashem said to the spirit, Bameh, how are you going to do that? Vayomer eitzei vayisi ruach sheker b'fi chol neviav, and the spirit said, I will be a ruach sheker, I'll be a false spirit in the mouths of all of the prophets. Vayomer tefate, he said, go entice. V'gam tuchal, and you'll succeed. Say ve'aseh ken, go out and do that. And the Gemara says, "My ruach." What was this spirit that's mentioned in the pasuk? Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, "Rucho shel Navos haYisraeli." It was the spirit of Navos, the Israeli, who wanted revenge from Achav. And might say, what does it mean? Go out. Amar Ravina says, "Tzeima mechitzasi," means go out from my mechitzi. You cannot be close to me. Says Hakadosh Baruch Hu to the ruach of Navos. I don't want you within my partition. Shekein ksiv, because it's written in the pasuk in Tehillim, Dover shkorim lo yikon leneged einoi. It says that somebody who speaks falsely falsely, this spirit was going to be a false spirit in the mouths of the Nevi'im, so that spirit, that person who speaks falsely, so to speak, or that being that speaks falsely cannot be, leneged einai, cannot be in front of me, cannot be within my partition. And the Gemara continues, Amar Papa says, Hainu Damri Inchi, that's what people say, to Parakine Machariv Beise, somebody who in his zealousness he wants to get revenge, he ends up destroying his house. And the Gemara continues, the Pasuk says in Sefer Melachim, Vayas Achav es ha'asheira, Achav made the Asheira, Vayosef Achav lasos lahachis es Hashem Elokei Yisrael, Mikol Malchei Yisrael, Asher hayu lefanav, Achav angered HaKadosh Baruch Hu more than all of the kings of Yisrael that were before him. And the Gemara explains, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Yochanan says, Shekasav al Dalsos Shomron, that he wrote on the doors of Shomron, Achav kafar be'Elokei Yisrael, that Achav denied the God of Israel, Lefikach, therefore, en lo chelek be'Elokei Yisrael, he has no portion in the God of Israel. And the Gemara continues, the Pasuk in Sefer Divrei Hayamim says, Vayevakish es Achazio, it says they sought Achazio, Vayilkedu, they captured him, whom Mischabe, B'Shomron, he was hiding in Shomron. Amr Reb Levi says, what was Achazio doing in Shomron? Shaya Koder Azkaros, he was cutting out the names of Hashem in the Sefer Torah. V'chosev Avodas Kochavim Tachteim, and he would write in the names of Avodah Zarah instead of them. He was hiding for that reason, because he was doing this. This was something that he would not have been able to do in public, as Rashi explains. Koder Azkaros means Mochek Shemos Shevatorah, he erased the names of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that were in the Torah. V'chosev Shem Avodas Kochavim Tachtei, and he wrote the names of Avodah Zarah in their place. Lafiga Chayim Mischabe, that's why he was hiding. Sheilu Hayosa B'far Hesi, if he was doing that in public, Lo Hayu Manichin Oso Lasos Kain, they would not have allowed him to do that. And the Gemara continues, Menashe is the third king that has no chelik in Olam Haba. And the Gemara explains the name Menashe, Shenosha Ka, it means that he forgot HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Davar Acher, another explanation, Menashe Shehinshi Es Yisrael, Lavim Shabbat Shamayim, he caused Klal Yisrael to forget their father in heaven. Umenolan de Loasi Leal Madasi, and from where do we know that Menashe did not have a share in Olam Haba? Dechsib, because it's written in the Pasuk, this is a Pasuk in Divrei Hayamim, Ben Shtei Mesrei Shana Menashe B'Molcho V'Chamisha V'Chamei Shana Molech B'Yerushalayim, he was 12 years old when he became king, referring to Menashe, and he was 55 years the king in Yerushalayim. Vayas Asherah, Vayas Asherah Kasherasa Achav, it says that he did like Achav did, Kasherasa Achav Melech Yisrael, like Achav the king of Yisrael did. And essentially we make a comparison between him and between Achav. Ma'achav ein lo chelik liolam haba, just like Achav has no portion, has no share in the world to come. Af Menashe ein lo chelik liolam haba, so to Menashe has no chelik in the world to come. In this last pasuk that was quoted of Vayas Asherah, when it says again Vayas Asherah Kasherasa Achav Melech Yisrael, that is a pasuk in Sefer Melachim. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda says, Menashe yesh lo chelik liolam haba. Menashe actually did have a portion in the world to come. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk in Divrei Hayamim, Vayispalel Menashe Hashem Vayoser lo. It says that Menashe davened to Hashem and he entreated him, etc. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. Amar Rabbi Yochanan says, Ushneim mikra echad darshu. Both of these opinions are darshaning one pasuk, meaning we have a machlokas here, whether Menashe had a share in the world to come. It's both are basing their opinions on the following pasuk. Shenemar, as it says in the pasuk in Yirmiyahu, Unesatim liza'ava, and I will make them a horror l'chol mamlachos ha'aretz, for all the kings of the land, Biglal Menashe ben Chizkiyahu, because of Menashe, the son of Yechizkiyahu. And the Gemara explains, Mar Savar, one understands the pasuk to mean Biglal Menashe, because of Menashe she'asa teshuvah. Why are they being punished? Why is Klal Yisrael being punished because of Menashe? Because Menashe did teshuvah, ve'inu lo of it, and they did not do, and so therefore they're considered guilty for that reason. Even Menashe was able to do teshuvah, and you're not able to do teshuvah. Umar Savar, and one holds that the meaning of the pasuk actually is that Menashe did not do teshuvah, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Kuf Gimel Amud Aleph.